So it's been a year since 31520 came out. A year. A lot has happened, and yet we're still in a pandemic. I'm making this video because, one, it's a year anniversary of the album. Two, I realized that the review, if that's what we can call it, that I had made last year about it was very lackluster, and I didn't really say much. I think all I said was, oh, this and that song's my favorite, and then called it a day. I was like, okay, might as well revisit it for this year, given that it's been a year, and I guess I can further explain or expand on, how I feel about it now. I'd given the album like a full listen in its entirety the other day, and I was like, interesting. So after listening to the entire album, I realized that 31520 just isn't my favorite, body of work by Donald or Childish Gambino, whatever. And initially I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why am I feeling this way? Like, I must be off something. It just doesn't add up. I have an entire channel dedicated to this man. Shouldn't every muscle movement that Donald makes in the studio be an immediate 10 out of 10 for me? But no. I thought about it further and I realized, the reason why I don't really like this album, and that's not to say this is the worst album he's ever made, or this is trash. None of that at all. There's some good songs on there, and I still think it's the same 3 or 4 that I had mentioned. The reason why I feel as though this album isn't my favorite is because of just how it was presented and just how it sounds sonically. So, with how it's presented, first and foremost, right off the bat, there's no cover art. There's no titles for a majority of the songs. Again, these were probably stylistic choice on his part, whatever, that's fine. It's pretty minor, but with just how it sounds, it's really hard for me to categorize what exactly is going on. For sure, it's 100% experimental. That's certain, and it's almost blasphemous to compare any of his works to one another, given the nature of just what he does. But I think for the most part, it's just the rollout. Now I think about it, there wasn't really much that came with this album other than 3 things, and it was on Donald Glover Presents. That's like a whole story in itself, because why is it not Childish Gambino, right? Then it came with that 4-sectioned piece, graphic art, with the burning town and the crowds of people, which those again were not expanded upon. Then the note with the writing and basically the album being some kind of prelude to some book, right? And maybe that's the big thing that I'm just not seeing, right? But again, these things are not expanded upon any further because it's just he's a mysterious guy. Now, because the internet had 75 pages of a screenplay, short films, Awaken My Love, had an extravagant show, same with BTI, but it had extravagant show, a VR, the app, the whole event in Pharos, not in Pharos, but Joshua Tree with Pharos, and even the EPs that stood between Awaken My Love and 315 had something that was bigger than itself. Kawaii was a continuation of The Boy a bit. Summer Pack EP was connected to Guava Island, and same with This Is America. It had a whole scene in the film, and with 31520 there was none of that going on, at least not from the feeling I got, right? And so if someone were to ask me, oh, what's your favorite album by him, it would undoubtedly still be Because of the Internet. And I don't know, maybe it's just the significance that it holds in my life as it does for many others, but it's just I wouldn't say 31520 is my favorite. Again, that's not to say that there's nothing good about it. Again, it's probably the same 3-4 songs that I still said were my favorite, and it were the songs that had the least amount of autotune in them, or not distracting distortion to his voice. He has a good voice, so I was like, why does he not, why does he do that? So the song that kind of gives me the most disconnection is Algorhythm, right? The one of the few songs with titles. If you've ever been to any of his live shows or seen any of the clips, like you see on YouTube, Algorhythm is a song that comes to mind when I think about, what he's done, he's some villain, what he's done to his voice. there was no autotune in like that verse in, you know, the first section, and it sounds a lot better when there's none of that going on. So it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because he's just never done too much autotune in the past that it was like this was such an abrupt change. So there was that. And then there was also the fact that there's some songs were not added, like Human Sacrifice, you know, from the Google ad, and even like, you know, Saturday, which many people were looking forward to, among many others. So yeah, I don't know, 3:15:20 just isn't my favorite body of work by him for those reasons. And again, that's not to say this is the worst thing he's ever made. It's not. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I almost sound entitled, but I don't know. I'm just a listener of his music, and that was just my thoughts on, you know, that project. There's still some songs I still go and listen to, but as a whole, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, you know, by him. And that's my right, to each their own. Anyways, that's all I kind of have to say. On that note, comment how you felt about the album. Does it give you like a similar feeling as it did for me today, at least, right? Or, you know, or you feel like a little bit indifferent. So yeah, anyways, I'll catch you in the next video. See you.